A winning start back for you with the team. How do you sum up your night's work?
No, obviously, very happy to win. Obviously, on my first game back. I think Gareth said it before that we're really onto clean sheets at the moment, and we got another clean sheet here tonight. The pitch at times was very difficult, but we got what we wanted, 3 points, and job done. And yeah, no, I'm very happy to be back in the fold.
And happy, I imagine, with your assist at a crucial time for the team.
Yeah, no, of course, and I think maybe a little crucial time for me. I gave a couple of sloppy balls away, and I think when you're playing with Harry Kane, he's going to be in the box, and if you hit the area, he's going to always be there, and he was. And great header by him, and yeah, of course, a crucial time for us to get the opener and sort of settle things down.
What did England need to show after that? Because it felt as though you were then able to settle into your game much more.
Yeah, definitely. I think we controlled the tempo well. I think at times, their only chances really came from mistakes from us. I think at times the pitch didn't help. The pitch was, very difficult. But of course, no excuses. We know we made a couple mistakes, and even towards the end of the game, Gareth spoke after that. We needed to control it better, especially against maybe higher opposition, and maybe we might have been punished. But look, it's a very good win, and it's a great feeling to be back in and around the team.
Yes, it's your 8th cap in 7 years, so you'll want to run in the team now. What does it mean to you to be back now, and how much would it mean to you to be part of the Euro squad?
Oh no, massively. The last sort of 2 years I've been watching the games, and really sort of regretting not being able to take my sort of chance when I had them. And like I said, I'm just so happy to be back, and even if I'm not playing, I'm just around the squad. It's still brilliant, and of course I'd love to be in the Euro squad. I think every single English player would want to, and there's very high competition. Chile played the other night, was outstanding, and he's a really, really good player. So competition is great, and I'll just keep pushing myself.
Gareth, where do you place that night's work?
Well, what pleased me, difficult pitch to move the ball on, so we adapted well to that. I think we controlled the game, and after about 25 minutes we just changed the shape of the midfield a little bit, and we looked a lot more dangerous. They were a different formation to the one they've played their last 25 matches, so I thought we adapted well to that. We were comfortable for most of the second half. I just thought at the end of the game we had opportunities to make it 3 and should have killed the game off. And I didn't like the way we managed the game in the last 15 minutes, charging forward when we didn't need to, throwing at the end that we nearly conceded a goal from. So pleased with the win, but I think there are areas that we can certainly tighten up on.
Mason Mount, another goal. Phil Foden, close to a goal. How did they impress you? Only the second time they've started for you.
Yeah, very good. I think both of them, you can see in those games where there's very little space, the way they manipulate the ball through those tight areas, their vision, they're both a goal threat. But they work so hard as well for the team. Both of them really pressed well. When we lost the ball tonight again, we pressed really well, and they started that press. So I thought our front four were a threat, and the longer the game went on, the more we looked likely to extend the lead.
Is this formation and this starting lineup an indication of what you'll do on Wednesday against Poland?
Well, we'll have to see how everybody's come through today. Obviously, we'll have a look at Poland and see what their game was like today. We've seen their last one. So, but I was very pleased with the performances. We know that we've got some depth to come back in if we need freshening up. So we'll just see how everybody reports in the morning.
Only the winners qualify automatically. So Wednesday's game against Poland at Wembley, absolutely key, no question about that. Do you file that under efficient professional job well done?
Yeah, exactly. Comfortable evening. I think once they got the second goal, the players no doubt switched off and they would have been focusing, on the Poland game. took their foot off the gas. They probably could have been a bit more ruthless, I suppose, in the 2 games they've had over the last few days. But job done, move on, no injuries, and a much tougher game coming up.
And once you get the second goal, you think about Poland, don't you? You think about staying out of trouble, both in terms of cards and injuries, and think about Wednesday nights.
Yeah, hopefully they come away from this unscathed in terms of injuries. And, yeah, now they've got the second goal, focus on Poland, because it's going to be a different opposition, a more dangerous one. So, you know, I think there will be a few key things that Gareth will take from this game in terms of how he operates maybe the midfield. But, yeah, it's going to be different animal on Wednesday.
We're looking forward to Wednesday, aren't we? In the sense of what a challenge that will be for England. As I just mentioned, only the winners qualify automatically. So that makes Wednesday key match.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it, especially watching Lewandowski live. I love watching him live, watch what he does. But yeah, it's going to be a good game. You know, we've had 2 games that we should win, and we have won. We have won pretty well, pretty comfortably. So, you know, all you can do is beat what's in front of you, and we've done that, I thought, comfortably tonight, and obviously the other day as well.
Harry Kane back amongst the goals. Here's the England captain with Gabriel Clark.
Harry, well done on the win. How do you sum up the performance?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good performance, to be honest. Never easy coming away from home against a tough side. And yeah, maybe a little bit slow to start. We kind of changed our formation halfway through the first half, and I think that definitely helped. We got more runners in the box, more attacking play, and then obviously getting a goal before half-time was great. And then, yeah, I thought we controlled the second half well. They didn't create too many chances. So overall, a good night.
You hadn't scored, as you'll know, for 6 England games. Is that something you'd been hard on yourself about or not?
No, I think I've always said as a striker, sometimes you go through spells where everything you touch goes in, and sometimes it just doesn't quite go your way. I think I had a few off the line in that spell, an offside goal that I don't think was offside. So, and that's part of being a striker. You know, you just got to stay focused on doing your job for the team. And thankfully, we've done that as a team today. And like I said, it's great to get the 3 points.
How much is your role evolving with this group, dropping deeper to set up chances as well?
Yeah, I think it's been part of my game for a while now. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about it this season for club, but I feel like for country I've been doing it more regularly. Obviously, we've got great pace on the wings, we've got great forward runners from midfield. So yeah, it's natural for me to drop and try and create play as well. And thankfully Mace put one away tonight with a great finish.
Obviously, you'll want to make it 3 out of 3, but how much improvement is needed for Poland?
Yeah, of course, we need to keep working hard. We're not the finished article yet, but look, we're in a good place. We've won 2 games. Obviously, people expect us to win, but you still have to go out there and do it. And now Poland will be probably the toughest game in the group. So we're ready for that. It's a quick turnaround, so it's all about recovery over the next few days. Yeah, and if we can win that, I think we can go 5 points ahead in the group, or 4 points. Yeah, and that puts us in a great position going into the games after the Euros.
Joining us, Harry. Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Cheers. Let's look at his goal first, then we'll talk about, which we did at half-time, about dropping deep in this game and the impact it has on him and the England team. But looking at his goal, his first in 7.
Yeah.
So he would have been acutely aware of it. You goal scorers are with
yeah, but the thing is that,
like
you know, when you haven't scored in 7, you think to yourself, I want to be in there, because this is the kind of game you're going to be playing in where probably going to get chances if the ball comes into the box. And you can see him here, where he is. That's where you want him. His movement's too good for the defender. You know, he's a top-quality forward, so the defender's waiting, he's on his heels, and he's got the kind of movement, acute movement, that if the ball's good enough in there, he's probably going to make the kind of the movements that's going to get in front of the defender, and he did.
He can see the defender's number, can't he? And you always say, if he can see the defender's number, the defender can't see you.
What happens with that? You know, Luke Shaw's delivery is fantastic, you know, but what happens is he's gone in, and the defender's probably, as the defenders look like that, and as he's done, he's gone. And that's why people say, well, how's he get in front of him? Because the defender's on his heels, looking, thinking, right, he's going to come towards me. Harry Kane's gone behind him and then, bam, in front of him. It's
what would you be saying if you were a defensive coach? What would you be saying about the manner in which Albania conceded that?
You've got to get over. You've got to maybe be a step to the right, you know, maybe on Harry Kane's left shoulder a little bit more. You know, Harry Kane is a very, very clever striker, so he's preparing that space. He's waiting because he wants to go in there. So I would probably take a step to the right and just, you know, cut that off, to be honest.
And you would say, because you played with David Beckham, was brilliant at this, don't obsess from those wide positions about trying to pick somebody out. You put it in the air and put the emphasis on the attacker to make the most of it.
100%. Shaw's not looking for anybody there. He's just putting into the right area. And again, we see Kane, instinct, anticipation, and obviously then the clinical finish. So I love the simplicity of it. Brilliant. Ball into the box. A world-class striker. Finishing brilliantly.
Where do you stand on the Harry Kane dropping deep? He was saying there, been doing it for Tottenham for a couple of seasons now, and implying that he was doing it for England, it just hasn't been picked up quite as much.
I don't mind in certain games when he drops in. Of course, he does it for Tottenham, and sometimes he's obviously got more pace around him when he's playing for Tottenham or with the England players. I think today's example, he probably doesn't need to do it because they're dominating possession. They're obviously going to be creating chances. That's where he needs to be. And I think Harry knows that. It's a habit he has, and he didn't really need to be doing it today. And we discussed it at half-time. If he were playing in midfield today and he was dropping in, what you'd say to him is, get out of here. Get up the pitch. We're dominating the game. We've got possession. We don't need it. But there will be certain games where he drops in and he picks people out, and he's brilliant at doing that as well. It's just picking the right time to do it.
Yeah, well, when we have a look at what he did in the first half in particular, it'll be interesting to see if actually he thinks it is appropriate to do something similar on Wednesday against Poland.
Well, you look at this, I think that Raheem Sterling's in a better position. He can stretch him. But then Luke Shaw, he's not even looking. He's not even looking. He's passed it to Harry Kane, and Harry Kane's coming into a situation now where you think, well, you've got Calvin Phillips can do that. Declan Rice. He's passed it now. And now, once this goes out to the other side, he's now struggling to get into a situation where he can then go and attack the box. Now, if that's going to happen, and people see Harry Kane going short, then they should be going in there and making sure that they fill in for him so as they can attack the box. Because too many times today, there's opportunities where people weren't in there.
And because he's not quick, and because he's not quick enough to get in there anyway. It'd be different if
he's not electric.
And then could sprint in like a Rashford, but he's not that quick anyway.
What do you think will happen against Poland? Let's assume that the percentage of possession will be shared fairly equally, you would imagine, wouldn't it? Poland are comfortable on the ball. Would you want him dropping in that situation when Poland have more of the ball?
On the right time. It's about the time, and there'll be parts of the game where England will no doubt be under more pressure on Wednesday, where Kane will want to drop in and link up, and that's fine. It's just picking the right time to do it. But when you're dominating possession, you don't need any striker dropping in, as good as they are, even in terms of passing.
And if he is going to go in, and everyone knows he's going to go in, because he said he's been doing it for England and people haven't picked up on it, but if that's the case, then Gareth and the guys should be saying, right, if he goes, then make sure, if it's Phil Foden, if it's Mason Mount, you go in there and make sure you occupy that space. Because, like, you saw him trying to get in the box, he didn't get there, and the ball's come in the box and there's no one in there.
And if you're a good defender, Poland, they've seen Harry Kane on the halfway line...
Yeah, are you happy?
They'll be delighted. Yeah. Delighted.
Absolutely.
Interesting that he talked on international duty about his club future, which doesn't happen very often with England. He's 28 in the summer, and, of course, he's linked with big clubs around Europe. And he's at a big club now at Tottenham. If he doesn't leave this summer, are you thinking, well, he'll be at Tottenham for the rest of his career, that this is actually the pivotal summer for Harry Kane's club future?
Yeah, every time I, hear him speak, even he talks about or addresses the situation about the contract, he seems happy. But under the surface, I can tell he wants to win as well. Like, most players want to win. They want to compete for trophies. They want to, finish their career with as many top games, big accolades they can do. And will he do that at Tottenham? I don't think so. So it's going to be interesting for him, whether he stays or goes, but it's going to be a very, very big decision for him.
Because he's clearly got a massive emotional attachment to Tottenham for obvious reasons. This is a huge decision for him.
Yeah, it is, but he's also a professional. And again, if you're a top player, you want to win the big trophies. A big few months coming up for Tottenham. They've got the League Cup final. Can they get in the top four? Huge question marks. Would that influence him? He's obviously under contract. Tottenham will have a lot to say about it. But if you're in his shoes, it comes the summer, I think the guy has to move on to really win the big prize. He's not going to do it at Tottenham.
But you say that, but like in 2018, before the World Cup, he didn't even give himself time that he could maybe win a golden boot and then have even more leverage to negotiate a contract, whether you're going to sign or whether you're going to stay. Sign a 6-year deal. It's still 2024. For him to be talking about his contract now, if I'm Spurs, I'm a little bit upset simply because he was happy to sign it there, 2018, for 6 years. So now he's saying that. It's kind of like throwing things up in the air. And I feel that, it's a little bit for me. You know what I mean? I'm not keen.
But because you sign a contract doesn't mean to say you're going to stay there, right? That still gives the club then a bit of power to say, OK, you want to move, you've got 4 years left. At least then Tottenham can say, well, we get 150 million from him, and everyone wins. That can happen.
Yeah, but then the thing about it is that if Harry Kane is now, like, talking about that, like, wanting to make, what's going to happen with his future, then you don't sign for 6 years. You're going into a World Cup. You're going into a World Cup. If you can win the Golden Boot, which he did, you've got even more bargaining power. You can say, well, I don't really want to sign. I want to see how I go. But he signed for 6 years. It's till 2024. If I'm a Tottenham fan, I'll be quite disappointed to hear that. But totally understand what the guys are saying about wanting to win things. But then you think about that before you sign for 6 years.
But right, he wouldn't be the first player to sign a contract and then want to move a year or two later. That happens.
And that protects the club as much as well, because it protects his value, doesn't it? And he is the one big... I know Son's a very good player, but he's the one big saleable asset Tottenham have, and every club financially is struggling because of COVID. So if they want to reboot the team, that's the obvious place to get a lot of money.
Yeah, and of course, and there's parts of Kane's games I've looked at recently where I'm thinking, if he's the captain of the club, I've looked at him games in Europe where they got knocked out, and I say, we need a bit more from you. So sometimes Mourinho or Tottenham will have to say, OK, he keeps making these noises. If there's a big offer on the table, we'll take it and we move on and we'll reinvest it. That's the game. That's what the game's about.
I think we're never privy to the conversation that maybe Harry Kane had with Levy. You know, he could have said before he signed a contract, look, I'm going to invest, I'm going to bring better players to this team. So Harry's thought, yeah, good opportunity for me to stay at the club that I love. I've been here for however many years, but now I'm going to build, I'm going to win something at Tottenham because you're going to add, and they don't. So...
Well, it's a story that's going to bubble on for as we know. You know football. It's going to bubble on for a bit. Let's talk about somebody who's very committed to their club, Mason Mount. And also, the way that I asked Ian at the beginning who his starters might be for a first Euros game, I think you'd have to say he's a starter, isn't he? Whatever formation England play, Mason Mount looks like a starter.
Yeah, I think Gareth really, you know, we talk about that word, you know, really trusts him, you know, to implement the tactical game that he wants. I think, you know, he presses well from midfield. He can press 1 or 2 or 3 players at times, you know, which can get the line up. He's always forward-thinking. He always wants to break the lines with passes, you know, forward. He's got that energy to run in behind. He's literally, he can do, you know, he's an all-rounder. And again, you just wondered, does he score enough goals? And then today he proved, you know, the quality he has in front of goal with a great finish.
He was nice and calm in front of goal, wasn't he?
Very calm. Very calm, and, you know, when he's going through, he's one of those that I think to myself, because he's got the technical ability to do it. You know, he's somebody that once he gets to this, and this is a good picture to see Harry Kane. Yes, if you're going to be in and around there, so then you can have people who are running off you and you pass it. And once he does this bit, I love the way he lifts it. He lifts that over the keeper. Some people just slot that in simply because they feel that, OK, the goalie's he's lifted. And when you look at the keeper afterwards, the keeper's absolutely devastated because he doesn't realise.
And he's anticipated the keeper's going to go down, so he's given
Absolutely. So you look at him there, he's gone down. But, like, what's good about Mason Mount's finish is that he himself has said, you know, I'm going to lift it in. Should always lift it higher. The goalkeepers want to go down. They're just trying to play that chicken with you. You just got to stay as long as you can, just lift it over. I love that goal. I love that goal.
And you could see him, Mason Mount, playing. Well, you like him as well, don't you?
Oh, I think he's outstanding. Yeah, I think... And he, do you know what? He affects the game. He's always involved. His goal today is outstanding. And the beauty, he makes the game look easy. He's always in control of the ball. Outstanding talent.